Come on. What did you expect?
Oh, I could hide neath the wings of the bluebird as she sings. The 6 o'clock alarm would never ring.
Welcome back to Disney Marvels for week of December 13th, 2020. This is episode 113. Disney Marvels, the show about Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilm, Muppets, Pixar, 20th Century, the parks, and much, much more. If it has to do with Disney, it's fair game. I'm your host, Matthew Graken. Hey, so I put a survey out about Joe Rohde, and what do you feel is his pinnacle, your favorite project of Joe Rohde? And the choices were Disney's Animal Kingdom, The Adventurers Club, Disney's Alani, or something else that I didn't list because there were so many, and, well, unfortunately, Twitter only allows you to put up 4 things. So I had to put an other column and let you fill it in. Well, no one responded to the other one. Strangely enough, no one put Alani or Adventures Club either. 100%. 100. It was unanimous. Everyone says it's the Animal Kingdom. The Animal Kingdom is what defines Joe Rohde's career. It is your favorite project of what he has done. I mean, yes, that is a broad stroke because within the Animal Kingdom, he's also had other projects that he touched upon. The Pandora has been put in since it opened, and Expedition Everest, which is one of Disney's another fantastic roller coaster. I have to say, out of the dozens, hundreds and thousands of roller coaster parks around the world that I've seen or personally experienced, no one does a roller coaster like Disney. I'm not saying they're always the best roller coasters as far as thrills or whatever, but just in general, between theming and just uniqueness and whatnot, roller coasters in Disney, I mean, there's just a weird history, and you would not think that being a family friendly, you don't think of roller coasters as family friendly. But Disney knows how to do a good roller coaster, an enjoyable one that most people can partake in. So that was that. And just to forewarn you, this week's episode is about the announcement. It's not what I had planned, but you know what? Disney always comes up with new things to talk about. And the investor announcements happened last week. I'm putting it in for this week. Because there was so much, we only got through 2 divisions of the company, Marvel and Lucas. We will get to the other ones at another date. I don't know if it's going to be next week yet, or if we're going to have to save it for some other point. Because there was just so much information. And I have a couple of things I'd like to do for next week, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yes, time to just enjoy and see what we have to say about some of everything that Disney announced. And we'll be back. I'll bring you that right after we finish these messages from our friends and sponsors.
Well, hello there. I hope you're enjoying this week's episode of the Disney Marvels podcast. If you have a little bit of free time and you'd like to check out something a little bit different, I encourage you to listen to the Chat Disney podcast. My name is Mercedes and I am one half of the Chat Disney podcast. Myself and my friend Tash are both based in the UK, and we give a female British view on all things Disney, from parks, movies, and even more. Check out the Chat Disney podcast at chatdisney.co.uk.
And now, on with the show.
As I've said many, many times, I love having a Disney podcast to talk about Disney because there's always going to be news. And when half the parks are shut down and theater releases are stressed and you don't know what's going on, there's still big major news. The other night, we're recording this on Friday, even though you're probably listening on Wednesday or so. But the other night, Disney had its investor call, and the amount of goodness that spewed from it was so remarkable, so unbelievable. I'm going to try and cover this as quickly as possible. And considering this is already going to be a 16-hour episode, I had to bring in the man who Iger calls himself to make all the big movie decisions. Isaac, thank you for coming on. And let's get burning through these 100 pages of notes, right?
Yeah, let's kind of get through it and talk about throwing basically a blitzkrieg of like new stuff, man. It's incredible. Just a lot of stuff being thrown, man. It
was like the Philly special of investor calls.
Yeah, oh my lord, just nothing but brand new content that's coming within the next couple of years too. That's going to get a lot of Disney fans excited, man. And honestly, I'm getting real pumped for a guy who's Marvel, man. I'm a big Marvel dude, so I'm really pumped to talk about that segment.
You got Marvel, you have Lucas, you have ESPN, you have Hulu, you have FX, you have National Geographics, you have Star, you have Disney Television, you have you name it. For the most part, it was mentioned. There was one company that I noticed was sadly not listed in all of this, but from other things that I'm hearing, I'm not too worried.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm not too worried for my felt friends, but let me get the nitty gritty out of the way. So, everyone with your Disney Plus subscriptions before March 26th, so March 25th or slightly before that, you will want to sign up for the year payment. You want to pay up front for a year. And why is that? Because on March 26th of next year, 2021, Disney Plus price will increase. Hold on to your seats, folks. $1. It's going from $6.99 to $7.99 per month, or $79.99 per year. So, considering all the content that's coming out, and also considering the competition, how much they have raised their price just recently, and what that price point is at, you're still doing really good. But hey, if you can save yourself $1 a month, save yourself $1 a month. Hulu, the bundle is going up from $12.99 to $13.99. Again, really only $1. They also announced a new agreement with Comcast that will bring Disney Plus and ESPN Plus experiences to Comcast X1 for the areas that have that, to their set-top boxes and Flex platforms in the first quarter of 2021. Joining Hulu, which became available on these platforms in spring 2020. Additionally, Hulu customers will also be able to subscribe to and use ESPN Plus within the Hulu interface. So adding to your sports lineups and programs beginning early 2021. So just a little bit of business there. You want to talk international first and then get into the good stuff?
Yeah, shoot. Shoot.
So the new international stars in streaming. So Disney Plus and Hotstar in India and Indonesia shared new details on the international general entertainment content brand of Star over there, not to be mixed up with Stars over here in the States.
Yeah.
But the Star streaming service over in the Asian area, they will now be launching that into the Latin America as Star Plus.
Okay.
Streaming service. Thousands of televisions and hours of stuff. This will include Disney Creative Studios, Disney Television Studios, FX, 20th Century Studios, 20th Television, and more to enhance the additional local programming for the regions where available. Stars also will be launching in Europe and several other international markets on February 23rd, 2021. Doesn't go into detail where in Europe exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, to our European friends, you may be getting Star, you may not be getting Star. I could not tell you at this time.
Probably it doesn't go into detail, but I think we can make a good generalization of where the hotspot set Star is going to be released.
Probably. And what's interesting, just as I mentioned up here, though, is mostly the Latin America that they were focusing on. I'm wondering if it's going to be, again, more focus on in the Spain and Mediterranean area.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the UK will get involved in this. I'm not sure. Will be fully integrated as part of Disney Plus. Renowned general entertainment series, movies, documentaries, and more that will double the content catalog available to Disney Plus subscribers. Disney Plus will be updated globally to offer enhanced parental controls, enable the family-friendly experiences the parent expect, because not everything will be within the PG-13 rating that Disney Plus caps out at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Disney PG-13. So they're going to add in a pin to profile lock any mature content. Oh my. This service will start at €8.99 per month. You could do the yearly at €89.90 in euros. Price and adjustments to the Star launch market includes Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. Streaming services will also continue the global rollout with new Star. Singapore, February 23rd. Eastern Europe, Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea later in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that.
Yeah, pretty much. We kind of already knew that Disney was going to eventually figure a way to get into those areas too, because the beginning when Disney Plus launched, it was clear that it wasn't going to be available across the globe yet. So Star was kind of now that Disney has kind of created this new network purposely just so they can get Disney Plus in these other countries. I think that's going to be a good deal. Hopefully, then again, in terms of shows like The Mandalorian, one has to believe that in those countries it probably has been pirated already at the moment, but now with Stars in there, they can now comfortably offer the service, and now you don't have to. Now all our South American friends or our European buddies don't have to do that anymore. You now participate in the service. You can get it clean, hopefully in their best version of Wi-Fi, and get all the goodness that's coming out within the next 2 years. So
absolutely, the Wi-Fi cellular service, and it will be you'll be able to enjoy it with a clean conscience and better graphics,
better quality.
There we go. That's it. All right, where do you want to go next? Which avenue?
All right, so I know the big avenue that I want to go to is let's just go right into Marvel, man, because I got so much to talk about this than any of the other. I gotta admit, I have so much to talk about than the other business calls that we're focused on. So let's just go right into it. Let's get into it, man.
I don't blame you. And in all fairness, it's going to be the stuff that's hitting the soonest.
Yes. Oh my God. I mean, and speaking of some of the stuff, let's just talk about the fact that they are throwing some money at this, man, at all of these projects. They are throwing some real money. Like literally, it sounds like we're really going to be getting like these awesome mini movies. Now, before I even start, have they mentioned how many minutes per episode? How many episodes and how long are they going to be? Because I heard it was going to be 6 episodes. It sounds like a lot of these series may be 6 episodes going to 45 for an hour.
Probably something around that line. I know a lot of them. We're calling them limited series,
which makes sense.
I know. Jumping the gun a little bit. Obi-Wan, which is a limited series, is down to 6 episodes. They haven't officially announced the runtime. It's probably anywhere to half an hour to 40 some minutes. As I was talking with Matt, one of the previous episodes, I think 2 weeks ago, that you're not limited to a time slot. So, you're thinking, regular broadcast television, you're half an hour, you're an hour show. So your content is 23 minutes, 25 minutes to 46 minutes long. As we've seen with The Mandalorian, you get an episode that is 27 minutes. You get the next week, your episode is 41 minutes. So they don't seem to
locked in the time. There are not lots of those time caps.
No, this is the time we need to tell today's story. That's the time we're going to take. So I wouldn't be surprised, or some of these things, when we get to them, I think some of them, especially on the animated end, maybe minutes long, just like 10 minutes or something like that. Because one of them, it says, is original shorts. So those maybe, like I said, 5-6 minutes, probably like the Forky ask a question type of length. Maybe slightly longer.
Interesting. Okay.
So and some of this is so early in development, I don't think they even know yet.
No.
But I would think episode number wise, between probably 6 and 8, 10 at probably the longest.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess.
I think out of all of the slate that was mentioned in terms of television and movies, it sounds like, other than Black Widow clearly has already been finished. WandaVision is already set out to release on January 15th. Shang-Chi just wrapped up production, so they're already in post-production. So from out of all that, it seems like those are the only 3 that are finished. And it also seems that we're probably...
Eternals finished too.
Eternals also finished. That's why I was going to say Eternals also finished. And the Falcon and Winter Soldier should be heading into post-production really, really soon. So right off the bat, it technically will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects that should already be done, and we're ready to be kind of released on their times.
Yeah. So. Thor: Love and Thunder is starting to pick up steam in its production.
Yeah.
And Ashley Olsen and Cumberbatch are already in England quarantining, getting ready to start production on Strange 2.
Gotcha. All right. So let's not even waste our time. So let's honestly just start kicking this off, man. Let's go with WandaVision right now, man. And that is honestly, when we first actually even talked about it, it was kind of one of the more weirder series that I really didn't get now, and I wasn't really it's like, okay, whatever, it's WandaVision. Now, as we continue to see more and more of it, because they just at the investors meeting, they end up dropping a trailer on it, and I just continue to get more excited for that. And again, going back to the budget too, you think about the set design, the fact that in WandaVision, how they are really paying attention to detail in terms of how Wanda is kind of changed into the different sets, from an I Love Lucy to a Brady Bunch to a 90s sitcom. The attention to detail within the sets is really, really credible. And I don't mean, and I know we try to throw away money in terms of special effects, but just attention to practical design is really, really good, that I really am appreciating in WandaVision. I thought it's something that should be really noted.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think this was mentioned on Star Wars end, but I think it kind of encompasses all of these projects is that they're not treating them like
No.
a sitcom. That they are treating these like a movie where it is the attention to detail, to the sets, to the costumes, to the script, to everything. I mean, look at the Mandalorian in itself. The production value mirrors that of the movies, pretty much. I mean, the attention to details and how things move and react, and the special effects and set designs. It is not. It's not cheaped out on at any point. I mean, it might as well be a movie production with the amount of work that they put behind it. It's a labor of love, and it's paid off great. And I think that is kind of the hallmark. Okay, this is the shiny example is Mandalorian. So this is they set the benchmark. That's what term I was looking for. They set the benchmark, and that's where they're trying to keep up to. And yeah, I mean, WandaVision looks fantastic. I haven't actually watched the second trailer yet.
No, good.
And it's like I want to, and I don't want to. I'm at war with myself if I want to do that yet, because what I've seen, I am fully on board already. I don't know if I want to see too much more.
I'm kind of the same way where I don't like if I know that I'm gonna watch it. I would avoid watching trailers, but I honestly this WandaVision trailer doesn't really ruin anything. If anything, it just gets you even more hyped, because again, this was a show that was still, even in that third trailer, you still don't even know what the heck is going on. Like you kind of have an idea based on little glimpses, but not enough that I don't think it's going to ruin anything or drop anything big at the end, though. But no, but WandaVision in it looks really, really good, and it just kind of taps into a lot of different stuff into that. Like you really get the idea to see what's going on in that trailer. So I am very pumped for that.
Yeah, Funko just announced to release the 5 new pop figures based on WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got Vision and Wanda in black and white. They look really cool. So I'm just I haven't seen it yet, and I'm there. I'm all ready for this.
Yeah.
We got a month and 4 days at this point till this thing comes out, and I am enjoying The Mandalorian. I'm looking forward to when Soul comes out, but I really can't wait for WandaVision, because that just looks amazing.
Yep. It's coming back. Yep, I totally agree. Stars Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bentley, Caitlin Hahn, Teo Paris, Kate Dannons, and Randall Park all will make their appearance back into this, so it's going to be really, really good. I guess so. The next one, I guess we'll sit down and move on to is one of the ones I'm been pumped up for, is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I did watch that trailer, and tell me how good that looks.
That trailer looks incredibly good because, dude, I am really pumped for the fact that Anthony Mackie will technically be the new Captain America kind of moving forward. But what I'm very interested in is 2 parts. Are they going to address because they have to kind of address this, and unfortunately the times that we're living in, are they going to address the society part of Sam Wilson being the Black Captain, being the Captain America? Because if you really kind of pay attention to that trailer, and you notice how they pay attention to the trailer, how they introduced the new, they introduced the U.S. agent, pretty much the guy that basically pretty much at that all black that pretty much at that black like pep rally. And I think because I think in the way they want to use it in a way to prop up some of the community in there, as well as trying to show the rest of the general public that okay, we're going to replace we're going to introduce maybe the government or whoever is running the whole situation. It seems like the government is trying to take back the whole mantle. So I really want to see how they're going to, let's be honest, how they're going to really kind of, how they're going to handle this whole almost racial thing about it, because it does play a little bit of a key moment into it. Is America willing to accept that an African American will be carrying the shield, on top of the fact that maybe both Sam and Bucky Barnes could be fugitives on the run while they have to figure out a plot while balancing the general public perspective of it. It's going to be very interesting how Disney handles this kind of subject matter in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know who's attacked. You see that they're getting attacked, but you don't know who's attacking them.
Exactly.
And what's going on. Yeah, you know what? I didn't even fully get into that perspective. I was more noticing some of the interaction between Sam and Bucky is kind of the buddy cop type of interaction. And also, I'm not sure if you noticed this, a lot of times, a lot of the scenes that they showed of Bucky, at least, he was wearing long sleeves on both arms.
Yeah, to cover up the armor too. And to touch on another thing about with Bucky Barnes too. New haircut. Yeah, well, of course, new haircut. Although I do miss the fact that he doesn't have this long hair. I just think that's just so iconic. Mm-hmm. I know in the promos they showed him with the short hair, but I think another thing they also have to touch on too was Bucky's side is his PSD trauma from the events of Civil War and what's in his head and what's happening too, because I think that's also another thing that has to address the effects of how war affects the soldier and what's going on with Bucky. So you have two interesting parallel stories that they both played by Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, and how they work together to address these interesting points while, like I said, dealing with the overall threat that is happening within this short series. So I think it's going to be funny. Also like the interactions with both of them, because that's kind of how they act like in kind of outside of outside of the movies. Those are they act exactly the way they do on set. So the fact that chemistry is going to be triggered on is going to be insane. I think it's going to be really, really good. So
well, if Falcon at some point goes, cut the check, you know that was ad-libbed.
Yes, exactly. So that I'm looking very, very interested into the Falcon and the Winter Soldier when that drops, which I believe is in March. I think they announced it should be in March.
March 15th, I want to say it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's shortly after the whole. It's shortly after Wanda should wrap up.
Yeah.
March 19th. I was off by 4 days. March 19th.
Yeah, March 19th, 2021 is exactly when it should be dropped.
Yes. And again, looks fantastic. Looks like the attention to detail is there. Loving Falcon's new costume, his getup, the wings and the crystal wings and everything. You don't see too much shield play out of it yet, but I think, like you said, I don't think they've fully hit the whole thing to post-production yet. They just got enough together for a sizzle reel.
Yeah.
And the rest are going to be worked on. I have such high expectations for this. Initially, I think we were both on the same page that for us, this was one of the ones that we were looking forward to the most.
Honestly, again, because like I honestly still think that Captain America: Winter Soldier is clearly the best in my opinion, the best Marvel movie ever made, still up to this point. I think it's still number one. So the fact that we're going to get that espionage thriller-based story within Captain America and the Winter Soldier with kind of the social commentary that's currently happening, I think it's going to be really important. And I hope that Disney does address it, because it would be such a missed opportunity not to bring it into into important masses, in my opinion.
Yeah, I especially since majority of this got filmed in the past, what are we, December?
Mm-hmm.
3 months?
Before, like, the COVID had to shut down production for everything.
Yeah, you had that, and then COVID shut down, everything happened then, and then you have they restarted up production, which I think they did a bulk of the production at that point. So you had plenty of opportunity to add that narrative in if they are willing to use this platform to tell that narrative. With having Anthony Mackie in there, you have all the opportunity to do that, and I think it would be a missed opportunity if they did not do that. Now, I know you have some of the other platforms that lend itself even better, and we will get to Black Panther, but there is no reason why you can't, in some form, address that here. And so far, thinking of like some of the track records of stuff that they've done where they've had to do that. I haven't watched Safety yet, but I know it's in as part of that. Which again, something that I'm really excited to watch, which just dropped today. We talked about Remember the Titans. So we've had a number of those type of opportunities, and they have stepped up at that point, and I hope they continue that in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree.
And then the next one, the one that my wife and her cousin are most looking forward to, is Tom Hiddleston's return as the God of Mischief, Loki.
Loki. You know what was really interesting? I was a little concerned about this because my biggest concern was Loki, was how were they going to just focus Loki just kind of causing havoc throughout 6 episodes. I was a little concerned that if that was kind of the base on it, I was not really going to be interested. However, that's not the way that they went with this. It seems like they decided to go a different angle where he gets taken. Looks like he's going on trial based on the Time Police, or what I think was called the TVA, which was the time. Basically, in short, it's basically they're basically cops of time and reality and space, pretty much throughout the whole Marvel universe at this point. And it looks like, because from what I'm gauging from the events of Endgame, and what basically, if you think about, the Avengers really messed the time flow up in trying to get the stones and everything. So
you got the stones back in place, which is great.
Yeah.
But you've got one little thing.
They messed up one little thing that threw everything out of whack. So now it looks like they're recruiting Loki to probably fix a lot of the time stream to fix the time, as well as the realities that the Avengers probably messed up during their time in Endgame. So in a way, it's going to be like a Quantum Leap. If any of your cast members remember the show Quantum Leap, where it seems like time. And I think if you pay attention, I think there was one moment where he's in the airplane. I think it's from a real historical moment. So it looks like even Loki may be taking the place of some historical figures while trying to fix the timeline, and maybe causing some mischief along the way. I think that's going to be really, really interesting. And also, we get a glimpse of Owen Wilson too, which was a big surprise. I didn't expect Owen Wilson to pop up on this.
No.
I don't know about you, but did you do the whole wow voice when you saw it? I was like, wow. He's harder.
We went there. Okay.
All right. Oh, dude. Come on. You can't do that with Owen Wilson. Like, I was like, literally when I saw him, like, really? He's in it? It's not just it wasn't to make fun of his voice. It's just when you see him, it's just that kind of ironically kind of pops into your head. It's like, oh, Owen Wilson's in it, which was fantastic. And he looks so different in this too than from. Yeah, it's so different. You don't really see his blonde hair and his locks in it. He's a lot more of an older man in this, which was very, very interesting.
And he's not a red sports car.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. That's very, very true. Good point. Very good point. Tom Hiddleston and Loki, man. I have to admit, I'm a lot more excited to see what happens. And you saw the trailer to it, right? I feel like I'm talking over. You've seen the trailer to Loki.
Does it sound like I saw the trailer to it?
I know. I feel like I'm rambling, aren't I?
Oh, yeah. No, I haven't.
You haven't?
Actually, no, to be all in all fairness, with everything that kept on going along, I missed that the trailer came out for that.
Wow. Okay, so I'm not gonna. Okay, because there is a very interesting scene. I'm not gonna. When you see the trailer, you'll know what scene I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Feels very gloomy to a certain character from Endgame. It may be that character. I don't know. It may be that character. For the audiences that had seen the trailer, they know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to leave that for Matt to go see that scene, and you'll eventually know what I'm talking about. But yeah, Loki. Yeah, no, Loki looks like really good. I think Loki looks like a fun, really interesting take on the and what's really great about these films, right off the bat, 3 different shows are completely having different angles on that aspect of the MCU, and it's great how these are going to filter in to the actual movies once we get movies back in theaters. I think that's great, and it's great.
Well, I like how at least the trailer starts off, because I have it playing now, that friend of the show Matthew Berry's part in Endgame is included in this trailer. So,
Oh, okay.
So it's good to see Barry there. Yeah, but three shows, 3 just like, but isn't that how Marvel is? The Marvel Cinematic Universe is, I mean, what, 20-some movies now, and most of them have a very different feel to them.
A different feel, but the quality is just going to be up there. And I think that's what's great about the Disney Plus now, is that it's you can watch the MCU films right alongside the television series, and the quality is not going to take a dump off. The quality is not going to drop. That's what I like. Like, you're essentially getting 6 mini movies, depending how long that they're going to go in, and I think that's just super amazing.
Yeah, I mean that is, and like I said, I think we owe a lot of that to Mandalorian setting that benchmark again.
Yeah.
And just Disney taking the stand that we are not going to give you a subpar product. You've come to expect this level of quality from the movies of stuff.
Yeah,
we are not going to step down on that. And we still want to deliver you the highest level product and entertainment that we can on these platforms.
Yeah.
So it's it doesn't go unnoticed that like you said, you can watch the movies and watch these, and it is the same. You're not dumbing it down. It's not like, say, you take the, I mean, I'm dating myself on this, and this is a backwards comparison, but the original Star Trek movies.
Mm-hmm.
and then you watch the original Star Trek TV show, and you go, "Oh, now I understand different circumstances because the TV show came originally, and they only had to work with that budget, and then you get to the movie level." But still, I'm just saying for quality comparison, there's a big gap there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And this, you're not getting that.
No, like television in general has stepped up money wise in the same realm that it does match up with anything that you started to see in theaters, which I think is totally great. But continue to move on and trying to move on. Let's What If Marvel Studios. We get a lot more information on What If. I think another trailer. Did you see the trailer to What If?
I saw the production stills, which look amazing.
Oh, you have to see the trailer. Then you need to see the stills don't do it justice until you have to watch the trailer. Yeah, that's another trailer. But also, I think I love the idea of going animation with this. Yeah. I think it's a great idea. I think it was smart to do that. The fact that you're getting a lot of the actors from the MCU to come and reprise their roles in these what if scenarios is great, because this is and here's one of the series that I feel like isn't going to be a limited series, because as the movies continue to grow, you can come back and revisit this what if moments too, which I think is going to be great. And you get to see totally different angles to play out throughout the Marvel universe. So I think the what if universe is going to have I think you're going to get miles. I think you get a good couple of seasons coming from this series.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Animation too is another great thing. I think it's going to be good. And I think a lot of them, like you said, are going to be shorts, right? Like some of them may not be like 20-minute. They might be only like 10-minute episodes with the what ifs.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because they just says animated series what if. So I'm not sure. It's quite possible on that one that we will get some shorter blips and blurbs here and there. But yeah, I know Chadwick Boseman from my understanding, he did record his lines already for the one that's going to be focused on that. Haley Atwell, I mean, they recorded this stuff years ago. And with everything shutting down, one of the things that did not shut down production-wise this past year is animation.
Yeah.
So they were still able to work on this and crank it out and get this produced and done and ready, gift wrapped in a bow for Disney Plus. So yeah, I love the idea of this one. When they announced it back on D23 last year, that the What If series was coming, I thought that was brilliant. In what better way, especially since they were able to get everybody on board to reprise their characters in these new roles. And it's voice acting. It's a different work. Yes. But it's a little more freeing because you're not getting in makeup. You're not having to put on a costume. You show up. And, some people may show up in their bathrobe. Who knows? Some people don't even have to leave their houses. And they read off their lines. They act out their lines. And the animators do their magic from there.
Yes.
So yeah, that I've been excited for. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And like you said, I doubt it's a limited series. I think this is something that they can go on for a while, especially since now that, once things start getting back into production and building steam up again, you can take your actors right off the set and have them record lines at the same time. So that way you kind of could get this synergy going between What If and the movie releases and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of great possibilities with that one. Yeah. Another one that I know that is a limited series coming up is Hawkeye. Jeremy Renner's already working on that.
Yep.
He's got himself all pumped back up. He had been in that kind of shape since 2017, whenever they did filmed Endgame.
Yep.
Yep. That one we have to wait for Black Widow because
there's going to be a lot. There's little
crossover there.
a little crossover from a certain character will make her appearance in Hawkeye, which was already announced, though. Along with that, we're going to get Kate Bishop, played by Into the Spider-Verse's Haley Stanfield, which I think is going to be very fantastic. I think they finally solidified her character on that.
Yeah, I'm. Yeah, she's definitely playing Kate Bishop. It's not going to be his daughter.
Nope.
That everyone expected to be. No, but they are sticking with the Kate Bishop character.
Which I think.
And he's training her to be the next Hawkeye. And apparently he does get a little roughed up from some of the pictures that he has released.
There are some stills out there, already. And I think someone did capture a little bit of filming before I think the video got pulled down. But yes, I think there's going to be very interesting things too. That they're kind of thrown into there. Also was Verga Farmiga. I think I'm going to butcher the names. The cast also includes Vera Farmiga, Frafie, Tony Dalton, Zahn McLaren, Brian DeCray, James, and a newcomer, Alaqua Cox, and Maya Lopez. The series is owned by Ross Thomas and is directed by Duelbert and Murney. Will be directing this series, so I think that's going to be fantastic. Again, we don't know anything about it. I'm a big Hawkeye person, so hopefully the series lives up to its name.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's again. I don't see them dropping the ball on any of these. If there wasn't a strong story to tell, they wouldn't be telling it. I mean, we've seen that so far with the movies. We got that sense of feeling from WandaVision. Now, Falcon Winter Soldier and Loki. This is just going to flow right in line. I cannot see this missing. Werner would not sign up for something that wasn't going to put Hawkeye in a good light, because he's always been championing that character.
No, of course not. No.
Ever since Avengers, and it's like, okay, I didn't like what you guys did with my character. All right, well, let's do you justice. We've in Ultron, picked this character back up, and in Civil War, so they try and do right by him.
Yep.
And he is a fantastic actor. I always like his parts and what he's done, and I can't see again him accepting something that is subpar, because if it is, he will be the first one to try and fix it.
Yep.
From there, then we got another one that I'm excited about, that they've started work on. It's in the early stages still. Is Ms. Marvel?
Yes, launching late into 2021, which I think is going to be big. New character series is going to be, and we are going to finally get introduced to one of the more new popular characters, Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
A girl representing Jersey City. New Jersey stand-up. 16-year-old Pakistani girl from Jersey City, which I think is going to be fantastic, which they end up going with pretty much an unknown actress by the name of Aman Vanelli, a Canadian actress who right now has no IDMB at the moment.
No.
She is fresh into the world. And also, I think if you do pay attention, I want to believe they already started filming some parts of the show. I think they showed some glimpses of that show, which I think is really going to be good. Forward.
Speaking of which, I know Hawkeye has been filming in New York.
Yep.
Where I hope they do some filming for Ms. Marvel in New Jersey, because I like, that's the one thing with Winter Soldier. It's like, oh, we're in New Jersey. No, you're not. You're in Ohio.
Yeah.
So come on down the road a little bit.
Yeah, of course. No, totally. I think they definitely need to show up too. But yeah,
Matt Lintz. I don't know, who's he.
Yeah, and I think what's really important about this too is that it's this show is going to be not only held by uh, writers of Pakistani, of Mid Eastern, of origin, but it's also going to be held by the directors. Like I said, Alma Vanelli is sort of as Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel. Any other casts will include our Miss Knight, Sagara Shakara, Aishan Zanoba Sharaf. I apologize for any Pakistani people that are listening to us. I apologize for butchering these names. Mohan Kopar, Matt Linus, Yasmin Fletcher, Leah Naki, Azar, Osman, Atravia Springer, Namra Bacha, and episodes will be directed by Ali El Abri, Bayal Farah, Mira Menon, and Sharmeen Abdid Shinoy. Again, I apologize for the butchering of those names. But yes, Miss
Just
Marshall.
remember what show we're on, and names we strive more, I think, to butcher names than to get them properly.
Yeah.
Because I never get them right.
I do apologize, yeah, but again, Miss Marvel, I think it's going to be a fantastic show. I really am looking to it, and it is also going to tie into the, I believe, the next Captain Marvel sequel that's going to come into it. Also, so I feel like those characters will make an appearance in that, which I think is going to be good.
Yeah, I think, and pretty much they've already stated that a lot of these series from Disney Plus are true part of the MCU.
Yes.
You will get that connection between, events that happen on these limited series do play a part in, which is what Agents of Shield was supposed to do originally, but you're talking about two different production companies. One was done by ABC Television, one was done by Marvel.
Yeah.
So the fact that you got the cats are opening the door. Like, who's opening the door? The cat's doing it.
Yeah.
Marvel is completely controlling this.
Yeah.
So you get that sense of you can do that connection. Where the Shield something's going on in New York now, and that was the last you heard of it. You got a lot more of this stuff going on now, and I am psyched. I am ecstatic. I just see how all this stuff crosses over and builds on each other and just gives us more wonderful Marvel goodness. Speaking of another one where characters crossing over, She-Hulk.
Yeah.
We officially know, okay, Mark Ruffalo is in it.
Nice. Yep. Yes, it is. Yes.
And Tim Roth.
Tim Roth, which is, if people remember, back in 2006, I want to believe, was it 2006 Incredible Hulk?
Was it that long? I think so.
I want to see. Oh wait, when did Iron Man come out?
Hold on, looking it up here for you.
Yeah, 6 or 7.
Not 4. I believe it is Incredible Hulk 8. Incredible Hulk was 8.
That's what I thought. I did thought it was 8 because that's when Iron Man came around. That's when Iron Man came out. Iron Man and Incredible Hulk came out around the same time. So the fact that they brought back Tim Roth was that for Abomination, I think I think it's great. That still shows continuing. That still shows continuity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're talking about one of the villains that didn't die. I mean, they did not deny Incredible Hulk as part of the MCU. It's a lesser talked about one because it just financially it wasn't as well received. Financially didn't do quite as well.
That, and they still don't even own the character to it. But the way they can get around it is that they can throw him onto some of the other person series.
Well, we can't do a movie about the big green guy, but we could do a streaming service and include the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like I said, no, but you got Ruffalo in this, so in some way the Hulk will be represented.
Well, of course it's going to be represented. You got Mark Ruffalo playing as Incredible Hulk.
Right.
All Or maybe he doesn't. Or maybe he doesn't Hulk out. We don't know. Or no, actually he does because he technically would still. He's now Mr. Fix-It in this universe, pretty much. So
Depending on what time this takes place, yeah.
that's right.
We don't know fully exactly, but I can't. It would be hard to assume that none of this takes place before the events of Infinity War and Endgame.
No.
So I think for continuity's sake, it'd be easier just kind of go forward with everything. But I mean, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And Feige we trust.
Yep.
Yeah, but again, the lead actress, I love her. She's fantastic. Tatiana Maslany. She is. Yeah.
Yes, fantastic actress. Honestly, we hadn't had an opportunity to talk about her though, but she is a phenomenal. Her ability to change, her acting skills are just top notch. The fact that Marvel grabbed her up is an incredible feat in itself. I think she's going to blow it out the park. For anybody who's watched The Orphan Black, they know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. She is a fantastic actress in this. And it's always been the great thing about this. You always get talent first because you can always worry about the martial arts. You can always worry about the physicality. You can always put on the special effects. But you gotta get the actors and the actresses first. You got to get the talent. That's what will always sell.
And I've said again before with the Marvel stuff that they're almost always spot on with their casting.
Yes.
So
even if we head scratch and question it always makes sense at the end. Like, oh, these are characters that I feel like we should have gotten, and then once we actually see them live and they actually perform, like, yeah, no, Marvel's been really good at the casting of these people, man. It's just well done.
Jeff Goldblum, you have Jeff Goldblum in a Thor movie? Why are you casting Jeff Goldblum in a Thor movie? You sit down, you watch Thor Ragnarok, you go, I love Jeff Goldblum in a Thor movie.
Benicio del Toro too, man. You don't. Yeah, I mean that's as a collector, I mean that's just finding the right people to fill in these roles, man. And it feels like it's also making it transfer this way into the television series too, as well, which is really, really good, really good at casting. Speaking of some interesting movies and casting, we talked about Moon Knight. Didn't he mention who's going to play Moon Knight? I'm pretty sure wasn't Oscar Isaacs that's going to take on the role, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Oscar Isaacs is Moon Knight. Speaking of actors,
Poe is going to be your Moon Knight.
Hell yeah, man, that's going to be great. I'm sorry, I don't think it's hell, but oh man, no, dude, but that's amazing too, man. He's gonna be basically playing the vigilante that has like multiple like issues right now. Like, what was it? What's the disorder?
Multiple personality disorder.
Multiple personalities disorder in this, which I think is gonna be very interesting take. A Moon Knight, because essentially he's kind of like their Batman, the Batman of their universe. So to kind of see that play out is going to be very interesting, and it is going to be very interesting to see how close they're willing to push the envelope with Moon Knight, because I know Moon Knight's a little bit more edgier than most of the content that so believe in the series. So that's my take. Marvel
is starting to grow into its own skin and be comfortable with themselves to start pushing that envelope. Hellstrom, they just did Hellstrom on Hulu. Mm-hmm. So that they are they're toying with the Marvel zombie idea. So they are starting to get a little more comfortable. New Mutants, again, going into that more horror genre and more putting on their big pants. big boy pants. So, keeping in the do we know for certain that this is going to Disney Plus?
Well, you have to if they're going to slap on the Marvel Studios thing. I mean,
No, you don't. You could do a Marvel Studio on Hulu.
well, I guess if they did, it would have mentioned it on Hulu. I would feel like they would have to mention it on Hulu or FX because I think that would be just. I just think that would just be a little bit that wouldn't really fit in the continuity of what they want to do. Again, I still think you can. I think in the realms of PG, I think with Moon Knight they're going to try to push the envelope in as long as it fits within the climate, fits within the perimeters of PG story television, or I guess in this case, not MA. I don't know what's the television ratings for TV, or even if there are ratings for streaming. I don't think there's even anything established for that in that realm. But
Not per se.
yeah,
I mean, no. The most organic place for it would be Disney Plus, and I could see them doing it there.
hey, listen, if they are willing to put it on a Hulu or an FX in order to push even the envelope further, I'm all for it. I'm just like,
and again, just kind of spitballing here.
yeah.
Yeah, it's again, they're going to do it justice and figure it out from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got Moon Knight. That's gonna that should be very interesting.
Mhm.
And what about this bombshell? Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special for next year.
Yeah.
Right, next year, or is it the year after?
I think it's the year after. It's going to be during the 2022. However, what they said is they're going to film it. They're going to film the holiday special as they are filming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So they're good. So that may be. So in reality, that may be actually be filmed this year in set for the next following year. I think that's how they're going to work it. And they already said that James Gunn's already going to direct it, so you know that. So it would make sense because James Gunn's the project.
I mean, so Chris Pratt and company are not only going to be filming Guardians of the Galaxy, they're already in Australia working on Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yep.
Switch over to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 to also take a day or two out of shooting to film the stuff for the Guardians of the Galaxy ride in Epcot.
Yep.
To then also go into production for the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
Yeah. It feels very Disney-like. Let's just say, like when I heard that, it's like, yeah, that's a very Disney move.
No, not even a Disney move.
This
is very much a modern day work. It's, you go into a job. Okay, we're hiring you for this job, but since we cut back, you have to not only do your main job, you have these 5 other sub jobs that we used to have 3 other people doing, but you're now going to do it. You're doing 6 jobs for one person versus 5 people doing these 6 jobs.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is.
They're going to pay more than we would do those 5 or 6 jobs, man.
There's no. Oh yeah. And naturally, segueing from that, you got the I Am Groot original shorts, and that's where I'm saying you got the shorts going there. That this could be 5-10 minutes. It's a short. It's got to be under 20. I would even say under 15 minutes. I could see it being like the Forky Ask a Question type of shorts.
Yeah,
you got Groot in there, which it's Groot.
Check.
It's gonna, and they specifically say baby tree, so it is baby Groot.
Yep. Good job, Vin Diesel. Anyway, the hop back. They also announced Secret Invasion, which
with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yep. Samuel Jackson with Samuel. You're right, with Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury and Ben Mendelsohn as Skrull Talos.
Yeah.
Which you met in Captain Marvel. So they are going to commit with the Secret Invasion angle. What level we're going to sit down and get it, I don't think we're going to get it the same way as you do in the comic books, but I think they're going to handle it the same way. They're going to alter it in how it would fit in the realm of television, just kind of how they did when working with Civil War. Going to the movie theaters, and I think we will hopefully see little tidbits through hopefully the television shows and the movies that will justify a Secret Invasion whenever that drops onto Disney Plus, which I think is going to be good.
Yeah, and then that I was very happy to see that, especially. Oh, we got Samuel L. Jackson coming into his own series. I'm like, oh great, we got a Nick Fury series coming up. Secret Invasion. I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
okay,
love it.
Then you also got the early information on Ironheart, which is the female Iron Man.
Yep. This is basically Riri Williams. I think this is going to star Dominica Thorne.
Yes.
Who's going to be taken on as the genius inventor, pretty much the college student that basically was able to backwards engineer Iron Man's armor in the comic books. And that's why she was able to create her own mock version of Iron Man's suit through it. Which, as the series goes on, she basically starts to become her own person. Now, I think that's really good. I think that's another great step to now see a young female African American hero that's also black and is also a woman of color. I think that's another big step into this. As long as with Kamala Khan and everybody else, I think these are some really giant big steps that are taken. Again, not a lot of news is not a lot of news is planted, but the fact that Disney, I just think it's just so happy that the fact that Disney is doing any of these, I think is a crown achievement. So the fact that we're even getting an Ironheart is amazing within itself.
Yeah, and she's a relatively newer character too. I mean, and newer within the past couple of years. Miss Marvel's been around for a little longer.
Miss Marvel and Miles Morales and all these other characters that are basically coming in, I think it's just next to nothing but short, but amazing at this point. So. So Ironheart, definitely going to be sitting there and dropping very, 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 very soon. I think it's totally, totally amazing. Speaking other things that are also moving on, they also mentioned another special limited series. Was Armor Wars that's going to be coming in. With Don Cheadle coming back to reprise his role as James Rhodes, aka War Machine. What's your thoughts about that?
I stood up and cheered. I've been wanting this since Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
I love Don Cheadle as an actor. I love the character of War Machine. And just to see him kind of as a secondary character in the movies, I'm like, no, I want more of this character. This character needs his own movie. I would love to see his own movie, and the fact that he's getting a series, in some ways, I think is even better because, as I explained before, the series you can do more with. You can expand the storyline. You got more time to flush things out and tell your story instead of the cookie cutter 2-hour movie, 2.5-hour movie.
Exactly.
That you need to just do your arc in that. This you can do smaller arcs per episode, the overlying arc for the entire thing. You could do so much more. And yeah, James Rhodes, so happy, so psyched to see him come get it finally get his own series.
Exactly. No, I couldn't agree with you
to
more.
face Tony Stark's worst fears. What does that mean? Again, in fact, you had me with War Machine getting his own series. Yeah,
It, it's basically the biggest fear of Tony was what happens to someone wherever they get a hold of his armor, his technology, which it's very interesting because I think it was played into a comic book event from Marvel. I think what's called Fear Itself, which basically it touched on every Avenger's fear come into life. And one of Iron Man's fear, one of Tony Stark's greatest fears is what happened to someone were ever to get a hold of his technology. Because we remember in the movies that his technology was used to kill people, and he didn't want that anymore. So the fact of what if someone were ever to get a hold of the reactor and get a suit of armor and do to create a legion of Iron Men is something that could be feared, and maybe this is something that gets touched upon in Armor Wars, where John Cena probably fighting to save the legacy of his best friend Tony Stark in this. I think that's going to be very interesting to see how they play off from that story angle from Fear Itself.
Yeah. Like I said, character that I've loved from the beginning in the MCU, even before that. In the few Avenger comics that I read, I always connected best with War Machine of the Avengers in the comic books.
Yeah.
So, when I saw him in Iron Man 2, I was excited, and loved the fact that they kept progressing the character and kept bringing him back. Again, always wanted more of that character. Now that we're getting a whole series on him, boom, you got me. Got me on that one. So yeah, that is. I was doing a happy dance on that one.
Yeah, I was very surprised they actually announced a series like that, man. That was very exciting.
Me too. And like I said, I can't be more ecstatic. Let's just hit through these the movies quickly. We got a name for Ant-Man 3, Ant-Man and the Wasp. I guess technically Ant-Man and the Wasp 2, Ant-Man 3, called Quantumania.
Quantumania, yes.
Everyone's coming back for it.
Yes. Yes. Yep, yeah, that's right, man. We're getting Paul Rudd and Evelyn Lilly are coming back to reprise the roles of both Ant-Man and Wasp, as everybody know, as well as Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer both played Hank Pym and Van Dyke in their separate roles, which I think is very, very good. And we're going to get some, I think, Catherine Newton will join the cast as Casey Lang, and the most important, the biggest actor I'm really excited to be joining this actor, Jonathan Mayers, from, if anybody has not watched the series Lovecraft Country, this actor is fantastic. He's a fantastic young actor. He's basically going to be playing King the Conqueror, which I feel like he may get even a bigger role. From what people are telling me, he could be the new biggest baddie, bigger than Thanos, if everything is said to believe moving forward.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard that the King, maybe the new Thanos character, makes perfect sense. Especially,
although it is weird that his first introduction would be in an Ant-Man and Wasp film. I'm just saying.
Versus the other film that they announced, which I did not see coming. I did and I didn't see coming after that. Being the new Fantastic Four, the Marvel Fantastic Four.
Marvel's Fantastic Four, yeah. No word yet. It's in development right now, but all we know that is John Watts is on board to direct the film at the moment.
These for now, yeah. I mean, these things have a way of possibly changing or staying the same. Yep. I wonder if they're going to give it the Spider-Man treatment of like Homecoming, where it's, oh, how did you get your Spidey powers? And just like, well, you don't need. I got bit by a spider. Don't worry about that. We'll cover those details later. Or
you know, it is going to be very interesting if they're going to go that route. I mean, and would you want them to go that route, or would you want them again to? Because I don't know, it doesn't seem like Marvel's First Family is really well regarded in the eyes of people. Like, they would have to at least touch on it.
I think they can touch on it without completely rehashing it. In when did the first Fantastic Four come out? It wasn't all that long ago.
Well, the last one, the Fox one, was a complete utter disaster. The other two films for that were okay. Were not great films, but
the one with Chris Evans in it. No, it was they were entertaining. They were enjoyable.
Yeah, not great, but they're okay. So
Yeah.
Although you could tell they were in Vancouver, not New York, but whatever. That's
surprise. Yeah. And technology, as far as especially special effects, we're having the Thing just in a giant foam suit, versus now, digitally affecting
CGI.
Yeah. So it's, but again, I don't think you need to focus the whole movie on that.
No, I don't think it needs to be focused, but I think it does need to be slightly touched upon. I don't think it's in the same realm as Spider-Man, where people kind of get Spider-Man already at this point, so that we can just go right into it. We don't need a whole big origin story and how he got his powers.
Well, his was a little more simpler. Yes, I got by a spider, and now I have spider powers.
Exactly.
There is more. And I wonder if they're going to tweak it again on how exactly they ended up getting their powers. We shall see. But, I think it's really cool. I knew that Fantastic Four was one that they were fast tracking. It was the first one that they cleared the rights for, to be able to produce a movie, and they fast tracked that one. Versus the X-Men, which they'd held back on, because so there's been X-Men's been a lot more recent than the Fantastic Four.
Yep.
So give the X-Men a little break. Fantastic Four has been on a break, even if you consider the last movie that they did, which again, in most people's eyes, never happened.
Either, yeah.
So you got that. Like I said, I was surprised, but not surprised at the same time. But yeah, Kang seems, you would think, would be more in the Fantastic Four realm. So it's a little weird to get him in the Ant-Man and the Wasp, but at the same time, they'll make it work.
Yeah,
I mean, you know that they're gonna make it work.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree 100%. They'll definitely try to make that work. So, but no, we'll totally see that, man. Though, but yeah, no, talk about a crazy Marvel slate.
Yeah,
so.
Captain Marvel 2, definitely coming out.
Yep.
So they got that one announced. They dropped the date. Do you remember the date? I know I sent it to you.
Yes. That will be coming out November 11th of 2022. So that's still months. That is still years away. And they also said that, again, along both Carl Denners alongside Iman Vannelli, the recently cast Miss Marvel, who was Miss Marvel, will make her MCU movie debut in Captain Marvel 2. Oh, and Toya Perez, and also, as well as Toya Perez, a grown-up version of Monica Rambeau. So both actresses will make their appearance in Marvel 2 alongside actress. I forgot her name. Brie Larson. Thank you.
Brie Larson. Yep.
Brie Larson.
And then you got
we also got the Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yep.
mentioned, which is also big. Like everybody knows, basically Taika Waititi is going to be directing the film, bringing back Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, and Tessa Thompson will all come back to reprise their roles. However, who's going to be playing the bad guy is no other than Christian Bale. He's going to be playing Gore, the God Butcher.
So,
Which I think is going to be great.
has anyone else picked up the fact that now you have two Batmans playing villains in the MCU?
Yes, I did. Yes, yes. Look at that. That happened.
But you know what? I am digging me some Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yes.
It's bringing Taika back. Fantastic. May 6th, 2022. Again, got some time, but that's so much goodness. Very little was said about Blade.
Yeah.
That's still in the early productions.
Still in early.
They firmed up what we were hoping, and they officially said for Black Panther 2.
Yep.
That I have stayed here, being written and directed by Ryan Coogler again. Good, smart choice, sticking with what works best. Honoring Chadwick Boseman's legacy and portrayal of T'Challa, Marvel Studios will not recast the character, but will explore the world of Wakanda and the rich character introduced in the first film. So we'll be getting a lot of the same characters back and how they move on from there. I just, that statement alone just states that I think they're doing it right.
Yeah, you know what? It is really going to be very interesting to see how Coogler handles the script for a character that it is going to be very interesting, because again, it is. I understand that that they don't want to ever replace the character's role in this, and I totally agree with it. I think Chadwick Boseman, he brought such a new energy to that character. That also being said, you really feel like, because it is Black Panther 2,
you need a Black Panther in it.
have to address that character. So they have to address who takes over the mantle at some point, because it just can't just be Black Panther 2. But I hope they figure a way that they can still honor the mantle of Black Panther and not and make sure they're doing it in honor of Boseman's character, because I think it's still important that they get that character in some way or some form. I just don't know who. I just don't know who would sit down and take the mantle to. And I think it's going to be opened, because again, this is not, this is the MCU. It's not really following any kind of comic books at the moment, so they can figure a way around that they can still meet all of those demands without not offending Boseman's legacy.
No, in July 8th, 2022. I mean, due to the fact that they even changed the title splash for Black Panther on Disney Plus. Any DVD Blu-rays produced from this point forward are going to have the new title splash honoring Chadwick.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, I mean, you are absolutely right. The MCU does not follow the comics, but at the same time, they do kind of mirror each other in some aspects.
Big influence.
There's influence, and one influences the other. I would not be surprised. I would say, especially over this next year, watch what's happening in the comics with the character of the Black Panther, and maybe there are going to be some clues there. I mean, there may be nothing, and MCU, just goes in its own direction. We shall see. We shall see, but it's I'm glad that they're pushing forward and just not even dropping the ball completely and said, you know what, we're done with that, shelving it all together, and we're not going to explore this world any further.
I agree.
Yeah, and then I mean we already talked about Guardians 3. So,
Yep.
anything else on the Marvel end that you want to touch on?
Dude, no, I'm just super pumped, man. I'm very, very pumped for the Marvel stuff, man. Really
Yeah.
looking forward to it. I think it's going to be some great stuff. Very good stuff.
So, from there, let's go to. Do you want to go to sports or do you want to go to Lucas?
Let's go, Lucas.
All right. Rounding back to the world of Lucasfilm.
Mhm.
We had not one, we had not two, we had not even 4 or 5, we had 10? 10 new projects announced. Some we knew about, some completely new, and some we got some more details on from Lucasfilm themselves in this Star Wars galaxy. We have Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which will officially be the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, starring Ewan McGregor, and just announced Hayden Christensen will be returning as Darth Vader. And the two will set. It will. Two are supposed to have their biggest epic battle to date. Big rematch between the two of them, which I do not fully understand. But we don't know everything about the timelines and what all happened when. Um, we do know it's taking place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Yep.
So, that is actually, I think they started filming.
Mm-hmm.
They started production back up on Obi-Wan, and yeah, we shall see how that all goes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I like that Ewan McGregor is coming back to reprise the role. And yeah, we shall see how that all happens.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. We have 2 series set in the Mandalorian age of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So we have in both involved with Favreau and Filoni, Rangers of the New Republic. Didn't really get much details on that. I'm thinking this is the one that Cara Dune is supposed to be attached to. They didn't say. I know that they've been working on something with her character, so that would be my assumption.
Interesting.
I could be completely wrong on that because this next one could be it, which is Ahsoka, which that one I'm psyched about. And when I was talking to Matt, I think I called it then that, we are not done seeing Ahsoka. I think, they are setting her up for bringing her into a series. Obviously they were. And, keeping Rosario Dawson and as the,
from Night Nurse to Star Wars.
And in Rent. She was also in Rent.
In Rent as well, yeah.
A little more of a druggie there. But, yeah, I thought she did a fantastic job as taking over for Ashley Eckstein. Yeah, somehow I wish maybe they could sneak Ashley into the series, just, kind of a beautiful cameo. Speeding through these ones, we got Andor, which is the Rogue One prequel series.
Yes. That's good.
Yeah. That's the one that they said that they're making sure they're paying attention to detail, that they're treating it like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So we should see. I never grew attached to those characters because in Rogue One you knew, okay, this movie's going to end and they're ending with the movie. So it's just like you don't grow to love them like you do Luke, Leia, and all them. So
which is very unfortunate because I did think Rogue One, a Star Wars story, was actually one of the more better ones during.
Oh, absolutely. The movie in itself was fantastic.
It was fantastic, yeah. Actually,
but yeah, so we get to learn more about this character post-mortem. But the the Bad Batch animated series. That's gonna be pretty cool. I like those characters in the last season of Clone Wars, so we shall see. This is going to be after Order 66.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so we kind of get to see the repercussions from there. Rex will be joining them, and we'll see how that plays out. Star Wars Visions, which is going to be more of a Magnus style done series. Again, very little information. I think a lot of this stuff is still in the early stages. Lando, again, we don't know much about it. I heard a while ago that they were trying to work on a Lando Calrissian story. Hopefully they can get Glover back for it.
Yeah, I was actually kind of interested if they would get Glover back to do that.
They didn't say one way or the other. They didn't even say if it's live action or animated.
That's also very true.
My assumption, again, from what I heard, was initially with Lando is that it was going to be live action. They were hoping to get Glover. Again, things change. Nothing is set in concrete. Everything's fluid. The Acolytes, no idea what that's about. My guess, possibly, and I heard them discussing this on Coffee with Kenobi, is that it was going to be more following the dark side of things.
Yep.
And a droid story, bringing back C-3PO and R2-D2. Anthony Daniels reprising the role as C-3PO. And again, very little information. I seriously doubt it's going to be like the 80s cartoon series. Droids with them. I think it's going to be something different. We shall see.
Yep.
Non-Star Wars related, officially announced something that we knew that was going on is the Willow series.
Okay.
Which they officially said Warwick Davis will be returning as the titular role.
Nice.
And that there's going to be there's casting calls for 3 new characters that are going to take over the series, similar to the characters from the movie, but new characters altogether. You give the Brave Swordsman, Magician, and someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot going on Lucasfilm that we did not know about. Thought, okay, Lucasfilm just kind of hanging out here. You got the Mandalorian going on, and then you got a couple of animated things and a movie eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, speaking of movies, next Star Wars movie going to be released December 2023, Rogue Squadron.
Cool. And that's going to be held by Patty Jenkins. Wonder Woman's 1984.
Yeah. And she put out this beautiful video. Did you see that video that she did?
Oh, not yet.
Okay. She's, it's her rollerblading down a runway. And she's talking about how her father was an airman in the Vietnam War. And he was killed, unfortunately, tragically, in a friendly event. She was 7 at the time. And it's something that's always sit with her, and she always wanted to do a story about airman justice.
Nice.
But she never found the right script until now, and that being Rogue Squadron. And which at what point she gets into an X-wing and flies off. So that I'm intrigued. I think this could be very good, but I also find it very interesting that now 2 out of the 3 Star Wars spin-off movies have the name Rogue in it. So that is quite something else. What else do you got? Indiana Jones movie, which we know they've been working on, and then the unnamed Taika Waititi movie. And just see something about Children, Blood and Bone. Do you know anything about that one? Not so much. So, based on Tommy Media's New York Times best-selling novel. Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff coming at us, and that's just on these two ends. I think why don't we just cut it here, and we can get back. We'll have to catch up in another episode with all the stuff on the actual official Disney end of things with Rescue Rangers and Peter Pan and Wendy and loads and loads of stuff. Isaac, thank you for taking the time. And we good?
You're good.
So I was saying, let's wrap it up here because I mean, just these two alone, we've gone an hour and a half with. We still have the Pixar and
so much to talk through.
The Disney stuff. I think we'll have to hit that at another time.
That's a part 2. There's so much to be talking.
We didn't even bring up the TB12's short documentary that the ESPN Plus is doing. Tom Brady.
Yeah, whatever. TD, but yeah.
Everyone's favorite quarterback, as long as you're in Tampa Bay or New England.
Yeah. I totally feel that, but no, so much covered in the Disney park, which is great.
Yeah, we'll have to pick this up in a part 2 at some point.
Oh yes, definitely.
All right, Isaac, thank you so much for joining me on this and enlightening us with everything on the Marvel end.
Thank you.
And we'll be doing this again soon.
Definitely looking forward to it.
All right, have a good one.
What is one of the things that you found most interesting that you're most excited for? Join the conversation. Facebook.com/Disney Marvels Podcast or our group, Facebook.com/groups/Disney Marvels Podcast. You can find us on the Instagram at Disney Marvels Podcast or on Twitter at Disney Marvels. Also, make sure to check out our new blog, which the links is in the show notes. It is the Disney Marvels Podcast blog or Disney Marvels blog at blogspot.blogspot.com. Also, you email the show. Email the show any suggestions or ideas to disneymarvels@gmail.com. You can also leave us a voice message through the Anchor app, website, or through your mobile device or computer and email that audio clip to us through disneymarvels@gmail.com. Links to everything is in the show notes. I also want to thank you for your time. I know how little time, how precious time we all have, especially now during the holidays. And the fact that you've spent some of that time with us means immensely a lot to me. I can never thank you all enough for the amount of time that you've spent with us and listening to us, interacting with us, and leaving your ratings. Speaking of ratings, please take an extra minute, go onto iTunes, sign on, and give this show a rating. We have all 5-star reviews at the moment, and I'm truly blessed. I truly cannot thank you all enough. Keep them coming, though. We could always use more, because the more ratings that we get, the more reviews that we get, the more iTunes will do the work for you and suggest the show. Or you can always just suggest the show to people that you know are into Disney. Because the bigger the Disney family, the better. Won't believe that? I believe that. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the show. This way you always know when a new episode is posted. And while you're at it, consider becoming a premium subscriber to help the show out, keep the lights on, keep the hamsters and the computers running. You can do this over at anchor.fm/DisneyMarvels/support or find our Patreon page. Links to all that is also in the show notes. Because remember, this show is brought to you by listeners like you. Whatever you're facing out there, whatever troubles and craziness and just hard times, don't give up. It's not worth giving up. I know it's the harder... giving up is the easier option. Sometimes the harder option is the right option. And in this case, that's just the way it is. But don't give up. Believe in yourself. This too shall pass. You can accomplish great and wonderful things. You're an important person. Don't ever doubt that. There's a light within you. Find that light, embrace it, because it will lead you and guide you to some of the most amazing ventures. Believe in yourself. Be your own hero. Never give up. Never give in. Now I'll end this week with a quote from Walt Disney himself. Television began to move and I began to think about it. I talked to a lot of these television executives and they said, "What are you going to do? If you go on television, what are you going to do?" I said, "I don't know. I presume I'll do what I've been doing all my life." They said, "Well, television is different. You got to do something different." I said, "Well, I know, but I don't think the audience is any different." And that's from Walt Disney. Thank you again, everyone. Happy Hanukkah to all of our friends out there celebrating the Festival of Lights. And I'll see you next time.